Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind Podcast. Today's podcast episode number 206. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Wednesday Motivation and Inspiration. And today, it's a good one. Are you ready? Growth requires you to leave things behind. Yeah, this is going to be a good one today. So, let's get into it. Now, here's the reality of things. You can't take everyone and everything with you on your path to success. It's just not possible. I'm sorry to tell you that. The reality is, you have to focus on moving forward, progressing what you're doing, and pretty much experiencing consistent growth. If you're experiencing that, then you are really getting to where you want to be. The only way you're able to achieve these goals is leaving people behind, leaving bad habits behind, and knowing that where you're going is better than where you are currently. Now, in regards to people, hopefully, you left the people that weren't meant to be in your life in 2022. They came into your life, they taught you a lesson, however many days, weeks, months, or years they were around, and you had to leave them behind. If you haven't listened to like any of my previous podcasts, there are two friendships that I had to end in 2022, and for good reason. I'm not going to sit here and get into all the specifics of it, but had to leave people behind. And I cleaned up my phone and deleted a lot of phone numbers, and I did clean up my social media a bit, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, things of that nature, because it was necessary. It was time. And growth requires you to do uncomfortable things. It's moving beyond the boundaries you're limiting yourself to. It's leaving behind the uncertainties, bad thinking, negativity, people who aren't on your wavelength, and anything else that hinders your progress. Because there are people that are energy drainers, and they'll come to you and they'll complain to you about their problems, and they want you to listen, and it brings you down. And I've learned some valuable lessons from my mom, and she said that you can't keep people who are energy drainers and energy wasters in your life. People who are negative all the time, that's all they have to talk about. It's drama, it's, dealing with this and someone wronged them and it's not their fault and all of those things. And I've had to let go of a few people like that in my life. Family, friends, things of that nature. And it's going to take a lot to grow, and it's not going to be easy. And when you start to move forward in all that you're doing, the one thing you can't do is look backwards. Because looking backwards has nothing to do with your growth and where you're going. And it's why I'm doing this podcast today. And what I will say is that in 2022, I'm quite sure there were some situations for you guys where you learned a hard lesson about yourself or about someone else. And you realized that you needed it. And I will say that there was a situation in 2022 where I was humbled a lot. And it made me look in the mirror at myself, and it made me realize who I am and that I can't give my energy to everyone. I can't give the same energy to everyone. Let me rephrase that. And you can't treat everyone the same. Everyone's not on an evil wavelength. Some people are on a lower frequency than you. And that's okay. But you have to remember, if you're going to grow and become the person that you're meant to be, you can't keep everyone around. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And if you're a good person, and you have a kind heart, and you know you know who you really are and who you're meant to be, the growth is going to be hard. There are going to be days where you're going to question yourself and who you are and why do certain things happen. And it's okay. That's just part of it. Growth is hard. And growth will never be easy. There'll be moments where it is, but to say consistently that growth will be easy, it's not the case. So you've got to make sure that you enjoy yourself. And you got to make sure that you don't stress yourself too much over things that don't matter. You got to make sure that you continue to motivate and inspire yourself to grow exponentially to a point where people will see you and not even recognize you from a spiritual and emotional standpoint. They'll recognize you physically, obviously, unless you make a drastic change, with your physical appearance. Maybe like you change your hair color or something like that, just a small example. But people will not recognize you in what you once was. And there will be people who will try to hinder your growth by reminding you of what you once was and the mistakes that you've made. And those are the people you don't want to keep around in your life. You got to make sure that you remove those people or you feed them from a very, very, very long spoon. And you make sure that they don't hinder your progress and they don't hinder your growth. Because personal growth is looking in the mirror at yourself on an everyday basis and knowing that you've got a long way to go. And growth and healing are two things that are going to always be continuous in life. And just when you think you're there and you're good and you're healed or you've grown to where you really can be, there will be a new challenge that will come your way. Believe me. And for me, I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet. So I can't even say I'm close to being at the potential that I can be. I know that there's always going to be growth and it's always going to be a continuous process for me. I always say that we're all works in progress on an everyday basis. And growth is part of it. And yeah, we've been through our share of things and we've got to go through the process of healing and getting over certain situations that we were in. But can't beat yourself up forever. That's for sure. Sometimes you got to say you did your best in that moment in time. And you know that you can't repeat that same mistake. And mistakes are okay, long as you're learning from them and long as you're growing from them. And making the good decisions are part of your growth too, not just the bad ones. And when all the good things happen, embrace it and say, you know what, I did a pretty good job at that. Because that's going to help you grow even more. That's going to make you even a more better person. And you'll be able to pass that down onto people, not just the negative things that have happened or the bad experiences that have happened. Because for me, I like to pass on the good things that I've done. And I will say that one good thing that I've really done is finally embrace my talents, my gifts, and my abilities. And writing blogs and doing this podcast and writing books on social issues and talking about my journey and my life. It's a beautiful thing. And it's fun. And it's fulfilling. And that's what I want for you guys, is to be happy, to have fun, and to be fulfilled in all that you're doing. So take the time to think about your growth and what things that you need to leave behind. Because the sooner you figure that out, the faster your growth is going to be. And the sooner you figure out who's meant to be in your life, the easier it becomes. The less drama you have, the smaller your circle, the better your life is. The more good people that you have around you that know you and know you well and know what you're capable of, the more those people are going to push you to be the person that you're meant to be. And it's good to have those deep, in-depth, thought-provoking conversations with people about growth and about life and about healing and about the struggles that you're dealing with and going through. And those people who are not judgmental and those people who are going to give you the sound advice, those are the ones that are going to really elevate you to new heights. All right, y'all. You know what time it is. It's time to say goodbye. It's the end of the podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening as always. Have a good, productive week. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.